Hi guys. Well, I'm literally waiting on paint to dry on the airboat. I thought I'd try my hand at scratch building a rigger. What I did was took the initial hole shape from the Amazon rigger. I lengthened it 3 inches and I increased the height a half inch. I've got my sides, I've got my formers, but what I'm going to do on the formers is I'm going to layer them with carbon fiber. And how I'm going to do this is I've got my carbon fiber cut. I guess the best way to do this be let's think on this a second. What we're going to do is epoxy this. We're going to put the carbon fiber in place, make sure it's wetted out well, and then we're going to put another piece of wax paper on top of it, and then put the hull, clamp the hull on top of that. So let's try that and see how it works. Of course, if you're making videos for YouTube, make sure you got your shit together before you start one. Okay, carbon fiber on the doubler. Let's get started and see how it works out. Got 15-minute epoxy. I'm not going to thin it down this time. You can thin the epoxy with denatured alcohol, but we're not going that route. Let me get my brush. Oh, no, I don't know what I'll do it with. I'm thinking about a 3800 kV motor for it. I went through when I was getting the dimensions off the original. The motor mount here is 11.5 degrees. I'm going to beef up the front former to 1/8 or 3/16 for strength. And I'm going to line top and sides here for battery compartment. Line them with carbon fiber. Paint the airboat yellow, bright yellow to be exact, something kind of obnoxious. It's not as bad as the green on the first rigger. It's just going to take some time. I was spraying outside and it got windy, so I've got some runs on it I've got to sand out. But get that taken care of and try to get it on the water as soon as possible. Actually, both of them. I haven't started the drawings on the Amos or riggers, as you call them. I've got my carbon fiber tubes coming in tomorrow, and I'll be laying everything out. But I noticed when I was measuring that the front amas are only a half inch taller than the rear of the hull. So keep that in mind. But hey, it's a project. If it works, great. If not, it's a lesson. Never too old to learn. And I am almost out of epoxy. We have enough, please, to get this last little bit right here. So, there we go. Damn, I mixed up enough for once. Okay, there we go. That has a good amount of epoxy on it. We're going to lay the carbon fiber over. I should have put gloves on before I did this, but oh well. Not worried about keeping the weave straight. Okay, there's the center. Right there. Here's the front. You can't see it on camera, but I can see the outline where the epoxy is soaked through. So what we're going to do is take this piece of wax paper, put it over, pull things to the edge. Let's get this one. Flip it in like it should be sitting. And start clamping it down. Two. Three, and the last. So let's give this about 30 minutes and see what we come up with. Okay guys, that hadn't quite been about 30 minutes, but what I want to do now, instead of having to deal with dried epoxy on this, here it soaked through well. Here are a couple of spots that I missed, but I'm going to peel the paper off. Now, I carefully get a hold of it. Yep, still tacky, but good enough. Got a fresh X-Acto blade. We're going to run around and trim the carbon fiber out, then clamp it back down. Easier to cut now. Then when it's dried, you've got a hard surface that you've got to grind off. So, okay. go. Okay, there's one section. On the second. Okay, let's see what we got here. One strand, two, a little bit right here. Okay. Let's get the last, and then the outside. We're in view of the camera here. Day. On those days. The Amazon rigger was built with 1/16 plywood, which I have quite a bit of. So I figured enlarging it like this, and using a much larger motor, figured this would be the best way to get more structural support with just a little bit of weight. Okay, down here to the end. Don't know if you can see it. Okay. Okay. A few little loose ends. Get this. Now let's peel this off. This is toast now. Clean this a little bit up right here. And there. Now we're going to take it, Another couple of pieces of wax paper. One. We're going to put it down like this and try and work on that bow a little bit. It's tacky but not cured. So we're going to fold this over. Put the hull back on top. And clamp it back down. Until it cures. So let's give it time to cure and we'll be back. Okay guys, let's unwrap it and see what we got. Look at that. I am happy with that. I am happy with that. A little cleanup to do, but not much at all. Quicksand will take that edge right off. Okay, I'm going to start working on the other side, and then we'll start getting the hull together. Thanks for watching. Bye.